Hello everyone, welcome to the Art of Performance, the show in which we call high performers and high achievers and what we can learn from them and they can offer to the entrepreneurs and the business owners who are starting their journey. So in the same trajectory, today our guest is a battle-hardened veteran with over 2 decades of service in the Indian Armed Forces, where he specialized in rapid mobility, high stakes decision making, and strategic leadership. As an alumni of National Defense Academy and officer of the elite mechanized infantry, he has led troops in some of the most challenging terrains and operational conditions, where every decision can change the course of a mission or save lives. Now, this branch of military, which is mechanized infantry, isn't just about firepower, it's also about speed and adaptability in chaos. And those are the very qualities which today's leaders need in frontline and startups alike. In this episode, we go beyond the battlefield to decode how to build and lead high performance teams and work under pressure and stay mission focused when the fog of challenges sets in. So, whether you are a scaling startup, you are about to start a business, or simply trying to lead better, this conversation offers time-tested insights you won't find in the theory books. So, please welcome to the show Colonel Sandeep Punia, retired, decorated military veteran, MIT Sloan Fellow, and now a rising voice who is helping to bridge the worlds of combat and corporate strategy. Welcome, Colonel Punia. I hope you are equally overwhelmed to be here as I am today to see you and the way we have been here.
Yeah, thank you, Neeraj. Thanks for this introduction and thanks for the welcome. Definitely, I'm pretty excited to be here and share my thoughts. And just to tell your viewers that me and Neeraj, we were in the National Defense Academy together for 3 years, and after that in Indian Military Academy. And what a lot of things I've learned from you, and a lot of things I've learned with you. And it's great to be speaking with you again, and on a topic which interests you and interests me.
Thanks a lot. It is actually nostalgic to speak with someone whom you have rubbed shoulders in the combats. And also now in the civil streets, when we are in a non-combat zone, we are into the operational mindset. So I'm equally happy and delighted to speak to Colonel Punia today. So I have few questions. The first question to you is that, mechanized infantry operates with speed and precision from where you have been for around more than 2 decades. So how do you build and sustain a team that can lead fast, move faster, and still execute flawlessly even under extreme pressure? Can you tell our audience something about
that? Yes, definitely. So, very briefly, I'll touch about how mechanized infantry operates. So, as you brought out that speed in mechanized infantry or mechanized battle, speed is necessary for survival. So, we operate in environments where every second matters. There are armored vehicles which are moving at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour in unpredictable terrain under threat. But if it is only speed without clarity, it would lead to chaos because everybody is moving at that kind of speed. So how do we build those teams which are ready through a combination of I'll say 3 things. First is rehearsed decentralization, because I think my job or job of any leader is to create more leaders, so that everybody knows the commander's intent. So even without real-time orders, they can act in alignment. The second thing is stress inoculation. So while we train under conditions which are harder than real combat. So we default to performance under pressure. And finally, a brutally honest debrief. We don't get into the habit of blaming each other when a mission does not go through or when some things don't go right. We analyze, and every flaw which surfaces, we then tend to make it better the next time. And I think the same principles can apply to any startup or a business: clarity, autonomy, and fast feedback loops. If you invest in the preparation, if you invest in the training, speed becomes your asset. It does not become your undoing. So that is, I think, how we can bridge, or how I can say that yes, like survival, speed is survival in mechanized battle. The same way in businesses, speed, if used to your advantage, can become a great asset.
So, what I understand is we are two important things. That one, we have to be brutally honest with ourselves. The debriefing part, which Colonel Punia has told, where we are absolutely honest with ourselves that what we are doing, where we are, and how we are going to grow further. That is something which we have to learn in the agile environment also, because everybody has a scope of improvement, and that is a beautiful thing which we have, which we can catch from Colonel Punia's wording, because in today's little bit of glamorous and cosmetic world, we try to become untrue to our own realities, and we try to become little, you say, covered up to what wrong we are doing. So that's an excellent point, which was brought today. And also I want to know that, were there any leadership systems or rituals you used in the military that could, radically improve how businesses teams function today? Can you correlate something?
So yes, I would say what I followed quite brutally when I was in any position of command was, as a leader, I think you should own the blame and pass the praise. You should let your teams know that you have their back at all times. Because when they're comfortable, when their survival is not at stake, survival, when I talk about survival, it is if they don't think that, yes, if I say something or I make a mistake, I might lose my job, I might lose the next project. If they think that, yes, my leader is always mindful of, and he knows that my intent is for the betterment of the company and the organization, that person would be more relaxed and he would come up with better ideas. So I think building that process of trust where you are standing with them, you are standing always with them and giving them that freedom and leeway and that latitude to function. I think that is the best way to develop a team and get that team to perform at their best level.
So how beautifully Kanpunia has summed it up, that, take the blame and pass the prize. So as an entrepreneur, it is absolutely important to, think about your people who are working for you first, rather than, grabbing the profits and giving a very less amount of credibility to others. It is actually other way around. So that is, passing the prize to the people, to the team, motivates them, and also it creates a kind of leadership which we look for. So, Colonel Sandeep, I also want to know, like, sometimes we have some urgent works in hand, some crisis management comes up. So how do you align urgency with long-term strategic clarity, especially when the stakes are high and time is very short? Can you a little bit dwell upon that?
So what I understand from your question is that you want to know that when there are uncertain times, but speed is also of importance, then how do we deal with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that is the art of command. That is what a lot of us have been trained, that on the battlefield, you always, if I can take an example from the mechanized infantry. So we always look from our periscopes onto the battlefield, immediate battlefield in front of us. So there are dangerous targets and there are important targets. Dangerous targets are targets, if not engaged immediately, can maybe inflict a deadly wound onto you or your tank. And important targets are some targets which, in the course of time, can change the outcome of the immediate battle or the overall war. So I would say that our training makes us believe that yes, first we have to take out the dangerous targets and then keep the important targets also in focus. So if I can just summarize it in a very layman's language, is that we have to prioritize. And prioritization, again, everything goes back to your training. Everything goes back to the commander's intent. If you know that what is the end goal this project or this organization wants to achieve, then you would already, it means you can automatically come up with a list of, yeah, these are the most important things which I am supposed to do. These are most of the urgent things which I have to do. And then you can prioritize. Otherwise, I think like in battle, same way in startups, you'll always be firefighting. You'll be always jumping from one task to another. If you do not have those lists ready, that this is my priority list, this is what I have to do. So I think this discipline that yes, I have to first do the urgent ones and then do the important ones. This and it will come through training, and it will come through knowing that situational awareness about the leader's intent as well as the organizational goals.
So, as we can understand that there are two terms which Punia has dwelled upon, that is dangerous and important. Now, they are two different things. Dangerous is something which is affecting your business immediately or in the time to come. So, they are dangerously important. So
Yes.
that is what the priority is. Now, what is affecting your business? What is the threat which is right now or in a week's time which can build up? So that requires priority. And also, what is important is to be done as soon as it is coming up. So how beautifully he has summed up the thing in a military way, so that it can become easier for a person to understand who is in a non-military environment. So also, I would like to know that. As now you have come to a non-military world after being, and I'm sure if I remember, you have a childhood also of getting trained in a military school, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. So now,
Yes.
since you have come to a in a non-military environment, so what has surprised you most when you entered this environment or into the business world after years of military service and military kind of ecosystem? What blind spots do you see that there is in the corporate leadership today, and what can be done to fix them? Can you share your thoughts?
Okay, I think my thought goes back to the fact that in the military, hard conversations, they were the oxygen of the conversation. Means they were the oxygen for us to thrive upon. And honestly, means I'm not putting anybody down, but in the corporate world, it is people in the gambit of being too polite or to build that consensus. They are very polite, and they are not giving. They're not ready to make those hard conversations. And as a leader, as a business leader, or as a startup founder, you have to be brutally honest. You don't have to be rude, but you have to be brutally honest. If you cannot have those hard conversations with your employees, if you cannot have those hard conversations with your co-founders, then sooner or later you are going to pay the price, because you're just slipping things under the rug. So I think politeness in business world can become very expensive. People do not have to be rude, but they have to be direct, and they have to know that the leader to whom they are being direct will not harm them for being direct. They should have that trust. And I may be sounding like a broken record. I'm going back to the same things, that yes, that trust building process, that they should know that the leader has their back, the commander's intent, and those kind of things. But these are the things I think on which all of us in the military have built their careers upon. So they have to have that trust that they can be direct with their leader and still get their point across and work like it's any other day of the week. So that would, I would say, those hard conversations, that is what I see missing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'll I also agree with Colonel Punia about this. What actually he's trying to bring out is about the raw conversations, the raw
Yes.
conversations which comes from the trenches, which comes from the heat, which comes exactly the naturally from your instincts. So those
Yes.
are the raw conversations which we miss, which actually carries that vibe of the team, because till the time those raw conversations has not happened, those kind of amalgamations have not happened, those kind of grooving has not happened, we are very very you can say artificial. And in
Yes.
a team, when we are working, as he has brought out, that hard and raw conversations is the essence of the team. So that kind of connection, the connection has to go that deep that you don't have to think about in front of whom you are speaking. Like we have been doing training, we have been, we have never thought about that what this person will think about it, because that bond is that great that the audience doesn't matter, because I know that whatever I say, he understands me. So maybe Kami Punia is trying to bring out that hard conversation to that kind of communication, that kind of heart to heart, a raw, very innocent, and a very honest kind of communication which builds leadership. I hope I am also on the same lines.
Yes, definitely. And just to add to that, if I can offer one piece of advice to these startup founders or the business leaders is, you would remember if you go back to our times of war games and any exercises, we always had a red team who would criticize our plans, who would fight against us like the enemies. So if in their office or in their teams, they can have that one person designated that yes, he'll be playing the role of the devil's advocate, a designated devil's advocate. I think it will help their business a lot, because when we think of an idea, we generally get married to that idea and we don't see the flaws or the blind spots in that idea. So if you have a person that, yes, please, you plug holes in my idea. So rather than consumers and the market deciding the fate of your project or the product, I think it will serve them better when they have somebody inside the team telling them that, yes, all these things can go wrong. Not a pessimistic guy, but yes, a guy who wants to tell them that, yes, this is how we can make it better.
What a great insight. So, if you could pass on just one principle of leadership today to every aspiring entrepreneur or a team leader, what would it be, and why do you think that that principle is will help them?
So, Neeraj, I'll come back to the same thing. And like they say that Fauji or a military guy, half of his life he spends in the military, and the balance half he uh, just tells the stories about his military life. So, again, like a broken record, I'll say own the blame and pass the praise. That is the one thing which will take your team, take your business to next heights. Means I, in combat or in combat like situations, I never lost respect for making a wrong decision. We are humans, we'll make wrong decisions. I never lost it because that somebody in my team made a wrong decision, and when I have to explain it to my superiors that what went wrong, if I throw my team under the bus that yes, it is because of X, Y, or Z, this thing happened, I think that is the last mission I'm going to lead figuratively. So, the most high performing teams which I have worked with were not the most talented, but they were the most secure teams. Again, it is that combination of trust, those hard conversations, knowing fully well that what my leader is thinking, what do I have to do, even if I don't have those orders with me. So it is an amalgamation of all these things that as a leader, as a startup founder, please be ready that, okay, if something has gone wrong, I think it's my responsibility. Every person knows where they have made a mistake, but if you take the blame, they would be secure that, yes, this is a leader which has my back. It will motivate them to perform better with each passing day. So I
Okay,
think if I can give this one line, own the blame and pass the praise.
absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Principle which is not seen in theory books, but it comes from the exact land and exact kind of a mission oriented place where the
Yeah.
person has been and gone through. So As Kalpunia, you have advised global leaders, built wartime strategies, and now study innovations at MIT Sloan.
Yes.
What frameworks or mental models helps you to simplify complexity?
So, simplifying complexity, I think, as in combat, there are issues. Same way in businesses, you'll not know everything. And nowadays, what I have seen is it's the days of data and AI. So everybody wants to have as much information as possible before taking a decision. So that I think it's a known moniker, the paralysis by analysis, because we keep there's so much of data available, and if you ask five AI models, they'll give you five different answers to any problem which you pose them to, and they'll ask you that okay, if we have more data, we can come up with a perfect answer. So I think to simplify the mission, it is first and the foremost thing is break it down into pieces that what I need to do immediately. So, and don't look at means you should have always have your thought process clear that yes, this is my 1 month horizon, this is my quarterly horizon, this is a half yearly goal, and this is the yearly revenue which I'm looking at. But to get that, work backwards. That yes, if this is the yearly goal, these milestones I have to achieve in 6 months. If this is the 6 monthly milestones I have to achieve, these are the road signs which I have to cross every quarter. If these are the road signs I have to cross every quarter, these are the paths which I have to take on a monthly or a daily basis. So I think breaking it down, working it backwards, again coming back to the military, like we used to calculate the latest HR and the earliest HR, work backwards. That this by this time, if I have to deliver a product, working backward, that these are the jobs which I have to supposed to do every day. And it might be a simple thing as sending out the email to HR. It can be just as simple as that. But working backwards towards the end goal. And that clarity on the end goal would come only if everybody is aligned to what the organization is thinking or what the leader is talking about.
So it means you are touching upon the methodology of following it up and then going towards it. So there is a method in the madness. There has to be
Yes.
an alignment. There has to be a way in which a person is planning, thinking, and going towards achieving certain kind of things. And it has to be structured in a way that a person keeps getting feedback.
Yeah.
I hope I am on the same lines and we are talking on the same lines.
Yes, exactly. Because see, there is fear, there is uncertainty. These are natural things. Means these are going to happen. You do not know everything. But what matters is that how we can metabolize it. Means like I use that a mental cue like compress the horizon. Means if I'm in a pressing situation, I'll talk about the combat zone, under fire, under pressure. I would shrink my focus to the next 30 seconds sometimes. Can I breathe? Can I move? Can I lead? This grounding technique calms your nervous system down. So you might be looking, or a startup founder might be looking that, okay, after 1 year, I have to develop this product or I have to launch this product. It becomes overwhelming when you think of all the things you have to do. But if you break it into parts, if you break it into pieces, make tiny improvements on everything, the cumulative or the compounded effect on the entire project will be great.
So it is so insightful to understand how the military training and the military psychology is also connected to the business world. How a
Yes.
leader in business role, in the corporate role, how a leader who has been in trenches and who has been through the fumes and the kind of the fogs, who has been through, how both of them, there is a similarity in the kind of situations. So it was very very educative and very very enlightening to speak to Colonel Punia, and also it was very delightful to see him face to face after many years, and we have a long memories along. And I wish him all the very best, and also thank him to spare his time and come and share his kind of the experiences and the kind of understanding he has about the non-military world also, and how it is related to the military environment and the people who are transforming from the military environment towards the non-military environment. I thank you, Ganu Punia, for being here, and we wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neeraj, and thanks to all your viewers and for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. And it'll be an honor and a privilege to be here. And if I could be of any assistance in future, it'll be great.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.